David Traylor here of the Traylor Law Firm, and today I want to talk to you about Miranda warnings. People ask me all the time. They say, hey, I got arrested, but they didn't read me my Miranda rights. Does that invalidate my arrest? Can I get it thrown out? And that's a very good question. It's one that's based on lots of exposure to the Miranda warnings, and it seems like from what we see on TV that every time the police make an arrest, they read the Miranda rights like it's something that's required to have a valid arrest, but it's not. You can make a valid arrest without reading the Miranda rights. Let me make sure we understand what the Miranda rights are and what they mean and when they're needed, all right? So the Miranda rights are something that the Supreme Court said we need to have police officers start reading these to people when they get arrested. Well, not when they get arrested, but prior to questioning. That's when the Miranda rights need to be read. So if you're getting arrested for something minor and the police already have everything they need and they're not going to need or want to question you, they don't have any reason to go through that extra step. Now some places, some police officers and agencies will do it across the board for every arrest just to be on the safe side. But they don't have to. And a lot of those agencies, if they take you into an interrogation room, they'll read it to you again so it can be on video again. And then they can use the things that they get from you when you've answered their questions. Now, what are the Miranda warnings? What are the rights? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during any questioning, and if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Further, if at any time after you've started answering questions you decide that you don't want to answer questions anymore, you can end the interview. Now, I've paraphrased it, and it doesn't have to be in any exact particular wording to be effective, but they do have to get those main ideas across for it to be effective. And the other thing is, there are exceptions where you wouldn't need to have your Miranda rights read, even if they're asking you questions and they want to use those answers against you in court. What are those exceptions? Well, say for instance you were in the back of a patrol car and at some point before they asked you questions, whether it was hours later or days later, you're sitting back there saying, hey, you didn't read me my rights. I know what my rights are. I have the right to remain silent. I have the right to an attorney. And you go through the whole list. Well, then they could just show that video and say, Your Honor, we didn't need to read them their rights. They showed that they already knew their rights. And then there's no violation, and it's not, just let's be clear, they aren't violating your rights by not reading you your rights. You don't have the right to have your rights read to you. And I think that's the way a lot of people think about it. Now, let me tell you something else. When they do read you these rights, they try to go through it really quick and easy, like it's no big deal, just a part of the procedure. We're going to get through this and go to the next step. And they do it kind of like a flight attendant reads the safety instructions cards, for that thing they do on the plane that you've seen dozens or maybe even hundreds of times. And similar to on a plane, when you're thinking about other things like, when am I going to get to the beach? Are my bags going to be at the carousel when I get there? Are they going to lose my bags? Is the person going to be there to pick me up? Or am I going to be able to get a cab or an Uber? All these things you're thinking about, and you're not listening to the safety instructions, and even though you've heard them hundreds of times, you think you know them, you might miss something critical. Like, where's the seat flotation device in my particular instance? So, it's important to listen to your rights, but it's also important to have known and understood them beforehand, to think about these things through and understand what's going on. So, they're going to try to go through them quickly and nonchalantly, so you're not going to really think about them much. They don't want you thinking about them, because if you think about them, you'll rationally behave differently than you would if you don't think about them. Now, if I read you those same rights that they read, I'm not going to go through them like a flight attendant. I'm going to say, hey, listen up. You have the right to remain silent, and I recommend you take that right and exercise it from now all the way until we decide otherwise. You get an attorney and you tell them what's going on, and then you make all your decisions, but you don't give them anything else. As much as they might want it, keep your mouth shut. You have the right to remain silent, exercise it. You have the right to an attorney, ask for an attorney. And one that's very important, if for some reason you decide to start answering their questions, you say, oh yeah, I waive my right to remain silent, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you, let's all be friends. And then they start asking these tricky questions, and you're like, oh man, I'm getting in over my head here, maybe I shouldn't be talking to them. You have the right to end the questioning at any time. That's the last thing they tell you. The thing you may not even remember about the rights is that once you get going, you can stop at any time. Keep all those things in mind and know your Miranda rights, but don't bug them if they don't read them to you, because they don't need to.